2, 1. Good evening. You're listening to Luxury Aesthetics Online, Vaporwave Radio from Austin, Texas. Tonight, we are really excited to welcome Young Shiro to the gallery. Young Shiro and I met each other through Homesick Fest. This is my second live stream with him, although the first one was pre-recorded. This one's actually live. So you're going to hear all the unfiltered takes and everything that we got for you tonight. Young Shiro, of course, is a Vaporwave DJ as well as half of the Hot Takes podcast. Quite a guy in the Vaporwave scene. Really enjoy his opinions and his taste in music. So tonight he's got an amazing mix for everyone. I've been really enjoying it since I downloaded it onto my computer to get ready to DJ tonight. And before we get started here, though, why don't we just chat a bit? So how are you? How's your day been, Young Shiro?
It's been good. It's been good. I'm quite tired. I had to work all day. I only got off work like an hour ago, and it was a zoo at my job.
Oh man, yeah, working Saturdays is never fun.
No, sir. But when you work retail, you have to if you want to make your sales numbers.
Oh yeah. Well, now hopefully this is going to be the best part of your day, the highlight.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Chilling here with us in the gallery.
Yes, sir.
And I want to just ask you about, so your set includes a lot of like earlier Vaporwave. I think our first track here is all the way back from 2014. Okay. I usually feature more current stuff on the show, and this is exactly why I pull in guest DJs, is because people like you have taste that goes all the way back to, early in the scene, and it gets an opportunity to get music out there that, people may have forgotten about, or, more recent entries to the scene may not have heard. And I think you did a fantastic job with that. You've mixed in some well-known greats and some lesser-known like little picks. So I think how would you categorize this first one by Mega Bunny?
So it's funny that you say that that's older Vaporwave. To me, 2014 is not that old, but I mean compared to 2021, I guess it is.
7 years, man.
So I actually discovered this, embarrassingly. I only discovered this song less than a year ago. And for those of you who don't know, Mega Bunny is also Sophia, and there's a bunch of characters after her name. So she's got like a lot of different projects. I would classify this as just like a classic, just chopped and flipped classic sound. Maybe bordering on vapor funk, just because it's a bit longer and it's less decayed sounding.
And of course, you follow that up with Nano Shrine. We're going to get into that in just a second. But first, just before we go, how did you mix tonight's show? Did you have a idea in mind, or a journey, or a theme?
Honestly, man, I keep a running tab of all of my favorite songs that I've ever heard every single year. And I've done this since like 2011. So I just went through some of my favorites and I picked the tracks that were more like vapor leaning. And then I put them in an order that I thought made sense, with some bangers at the beginning and some kind of like darker, outros towards the end.
Awesome. That is dangerously close to how I mix a lot of my shows.
I believe it.
So this will feel familiar to our regular listeners. So let's jump in here to Undeserving by Mega Bunny. Nano Shrine there, taking us around the world with Welcome Aboard. Our next little section here is one that I think is kind of clever. I don't know if you did this, like if this was your reasoning behind it, but it's a DJ iTunes sandwich. You have a song by DJ iTunes, and then you put something in the middle, and then you've got a song when he switched to his later alias, JD Sanuti. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's really fun. Is that how you meant to arrange that?
No, man, I just think that I call him JD Sinuti because who knows how to pronounce that. But I just think Andrew's work is like not only some of the best like vapor funk that I've ever heard, but when he started making lo-fi house, it's just it was my excuse me, my gateway to lo-fi house. So I got to represent because he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, man. Sanuti, I need to dig more into his work. I have that one business casual release he did, and that's already like top of my VHS pop tier list. But I didn't know he was doing lo-fi house. That's definitely my jam.
Oh, he's very good at it too. I wish he would make more.
And then right in the middle, you've got a Vectroid track here too. Why'd you pick this one off? That album has a lot of tracks that you went for.
So
you went for a short one though.
Honestly, because it is just so extremely evocative and so overwhelmingly like nostalgic. It's like it's a perfect echo jam, you know, and it's just it's the best in my opinion. It's what makes vaporwave so amazing. It's just finding the one section of a song that's extremely meaningful, and in this particular section is from that Al Jarreau song Fallen, which itself is an extremely beautiful song, and it just I don't know, it's very moving to me.
It fits right in as the meat of this sandwich you got. And I think it's cool how you kind of flip styles too. So when we get back into the music, you'll hear that. Hopefully you can listen for the sandwiching. And then we've got some more stuff further up I want to discuss, but I don't want to spoil too much about what's coming up. But I do want to mention, I forgot to mention this beforehand, but normally I show the album art while we're listening to the music, but tonight, I don't know, I was in a good mood, having fun, so I made a lot of visuals. Normally, I kind of just do like one loop. Yeah, this one, I want to give a shout out to Ming Curry, who released a big, like, just dump of a lot of VHSs he'd ripped. And so I've grabbed that, and I've been, like, messing around with them, making my own visuals, just using these, like, this, like, raw footage that he made available to everyone. So very big shout out to Ming Curry. Yeah, he's been making my job a lot easier for getting content to source for visuals, because I have no way to rip VHSs. That takes a lot of hardware.
Same.
Yeah, I can watch them, but that was enough work just getting my digital television, to work with them. So with that out of the way, though, I do want to get in here to this DJ iTunes here. This is Just Go.
This one goes out to all the pretty ladies. Oh, yes, I want it like this. Baby, fuck. Yes, I don't want to run back. Baby, go slow. I want to get to know you, baby. Don't speak. Your eyes tell me everything. I know what your heart really wants. It's me. I'm gonna be your number one. I will love you until the end of time. Will you love me one more time? Oh, yes. Baby, fuck. Yes. Oh, yes. Baby, fuck. Yes. Oh, yes. I want it like this. Baby, fuck. Yes. I don't want to run back. Baby, go slow. I want to get to know you, baby. Don't speak. Your eyes tell me everything. Oh, yes. Baby, fuck. Yes. Oh, yes. Baby, fuck. Yes. I know what your heart really wants. It's me. I'm gonna be your number one. I will love you until the end of time. Will you love me one more time? Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to write goodbye now.
Every day. Every day.
That was Teams there with Love Distance. That was the track I didn't want to spoil. And there's an interesting tidbit about that song, which young Shiro's informed me. It is technically, at least the artists who made it consider it a chillwave song and not a vaporwave song, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, man. If you don't recall, in the early 2010s, basically a lot of the chillwave people like Teams and Dreams West and Small Black basically were, pitching down and chopping music and often singing over it, like with Washed Out's "Feel It All Around." But essentially, like they were making vaporwave. It just isn't really talked about.
Oh yeah, Washed Out's a good example. Like when I found out that Feels Right was like the backing track was just like a French disco song slowed down, like that blew my mind. That was before I was really like into vaporwave. I was just like, but now that I'm into vaporwave, I'm like, oh man, how is that not just vaporwave? Like that's what that
Right.
is. Slowed down. Yeah, it's like crazy.
Super cool.
Yeah, and that's a great song too. We've got kind of a transition here now in the style of music coming up with King Quartz, Wanderlust. King Quartz, if I remember right, they kind of do like vapor trappy stuff, but also just more like kind of like Utopia virtual ambient stuff too.
Yeah, and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. His new stuff is very, very interesting too.
I didn't know he was making new stuff, actually. Is it still King Quartz, the name?
Yeah, I mean, he had a set for Worldwide Wave, the Vaporspace event that happened. I think it was last month, and he and somebody that's working with him are making like I don't even know how you would classify it, but he's definitely like evolved.
Dang, I'll have to go check that out then, because yeah, I've liked some of his older stuff before, but I didn't realize he was still going. It's just crazy sometimes how long like some of these people will go with their one alias and make music in vaporwave, because so many people that I follow at least usually like you get 2 good years out of them and then they're off on a different alias or they're out of the scene or on something like that. So it's always cool to have people who you can just see their sound evolve over like years and years like that. I think it helps legitimize the genre, as something as more than just like a little like SoundCloud thing.
I agree, and people grow. Gabrielle would be a great example. I see you have some artwork for one of his albums.
Oh yeah, my gallery here. I've got some of my favorite albums from
I see
when I commissioned
Brains.
it. Yeah. Got to give a shout out to Vanitas there for making my
shout out Vanitas,
my splash screen. But yeah, let's jump into King Quartz. This is a 2015 track, so I guess I can't call it old vaporwave, but it's middling vaporwave. It's
there you
about in the middle of the life cycle. that was the little, I guess, your romance section there with Eternal and New You,
Yeah, a
both like
little
kind of
bit.
R&B tracks, and with extra special meaning. If you are just listening and can't check the chat, Luxury Elite brought up the fun fact that that second track, Eternal, was actually from it was in a mix that mutual inclusion in a mix that she and Shiro sent each other like way back when, before they were dating, and they both included that track. So that's how things were meant to be.
Yeah. Psychic bond, we call it. She coined that.
And then the track after it, Qualia, New You. What was it obviously pairs really well with that Luxar track. It's a 2013 track. I hadn't heard of Qualia, so what's like, have they changed aliases now? What was that?
I don't know a lot
about
about Qualia. I stumbled upon them one night and I heard that track and I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, this is just transcendent. Listen to the rest of the album, which has beautiful artwork as well, by the way. And the rest of the album, I hate to say, is kind of mid, but that track and another one really hit just really hard. I want to say I discovered them back in like 2014, 2015. But it sounds like Lux might actually know more about them than I do, which is par for the course.
Well, it sounds like they may have disappeared, petered off somewhere. But that's also part of the like charm of vaporwave, is that you have all these little acts that only a few people remember, from and like pulling up, resurfacing, and unburying things like that are what I like to do here on Luxury Mixes. So props for including that one. We have Solo Jazz Cup here with the next track, which is someone who I think a few more people will have heard of. I think they do stuff on like DMT tapes. That's where I've seen some of their albums before.
They have another alias, but it's escaping me at the moment. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, and this one's a big variety artist, if I remember right. Like, I was listening to their latest release when it came out, and I just remember it was just like, every track was like throwing me around to different places and different styles. Like, they're pretty cool. They kind of dance around all types of vaporwave. So we'll keep you on your toes here. It's actually the end of this whole mix is going to keep you on your toes, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Good man.
Yeah. And we're going to follow it up with OPN, which actually I kind of just want to talk about right here, because we've gone into so many like early vaporwave acts and stuff. And we've even talked about, the 2010 era. So, why did you pick this particular like OPN track to throw in?
I picked Chrome Country because it is it may not be my favorite OPN track, but it is probably one of the most beautiful OPN tracks I've ever heard. R+7, controversial as it is one of my favorite releases by him, behind, of course, Garden of Delete. And it is just such a gorgeous outro, especially when the organ kicks in. I don't want to spoil anything, but hopefully everyone here has heard Chrome Country. It's just one of those moments that hardly a dry eye in the room, in my opinion, whenever I hear it.
Yeah. I actually do have my own OPN track that I was planning on playing like next week, I think. I'm gonna have to push it back now, because honestly, there's been a lot of overlap in this set with what like the vibe I was going for, like in my next set, which is crazy that you ended up doing that. But I mean, I guess we took the same like approach there with how we were making it. So
Psychic Bond 2.0.
Exactly. Well, watch out, Luxury Elite. But we've got I've got plenty of other ideas floating around, but I do want to just let people know that if you come in the next few weeks, you might have a deeper cut from OPN's discography.
Very nice.
But let's jump into Solo Jazz Cup here. All right, that was the Climactic Chrome Country by OPN. One of those big emotional tracks. Yeah. We've got one more track though. That's not all, folks. In fact, that's this one is the kind of throw you for a loop at the end track. Why don't you go ahead and introduce it?
Well, I love those kinds of tracks. I've been making mixes my whole life, ever since I was a teenager. And the starting track and the ending track, I've always felt like are the most important. And there's two endings I feel like you can do for every set or mix, and that's the slow outro or the gotcha, we're gonna have a banger at the end. And this one's kind of a little bit of both. It's probably more of a throw you for a loop track because it's not really vaporwave, but it's one of those types of songs and artists that's heavily consumed by most vaporwave fans and just kind of tends to be talked about and recycled in the vaporwave scene. It's a Sewer Slut track from her album Draining Love Story, which to me, when I first heard about Sewer Slut and read about and saw, was a little like, oh, I don't really know if I would be into this. It's a little strange. It's kind of edgy. But then I listened to Draining Love Story, and it is probably the best album I've heard in an entire year. It's like,
dang, that's high praise.
It really is just stupid good. And all controversy aside, it's breakbeat. But for whatever reason, Sewer Slut gets traded around a lot in the vaporwave circles, and it's dark, it's hard, it's sad, it's fucking apocalyptic breakbeat, and it's probably one of my favorite songs I've heard in an entire year.
All right, that is a big finale for sure, and thanks for the sage DJ advice. You kind of let out our trade secret now on finishers. I always get praise for like finishers. Now people are just going to be like, oh, well, you just used one of the two, textbook
right
closers right there.
Oops.
But, can't be helped now. Let's jump down the drain here for the last track.
I like it.
I feel it now. The ghost of people who still exist but shouldn't. Mistakes never fixed. Paths that never crossed. People who once should have felt familiar or still feel distant. Artificial patterns, fortunes, going to be broken people, living on and on, sneakily and casting the shadows of me.
No, absolutely. I think it's mutually beneficial for sure. I just wish I had promoted it better.
Well, I mean, no, that's no big deal. We'll promote it after it's over. It'll be easy for people to come and find and hear your mix and what you had to say about it. Which we've gone into detail really about all the music now, so we're here at the end. Thanks for coming along for the ride, everyone who's been here the whole time, or tuning in and out. Appreciate all you listeners, live or not. Right at the end here, I just want to ask, so why don't you tell us just a little bit about hot takes and all the stuff that you do if people want to find more of you after this, if they can't get enough young Shiro.
Well, so thank you so much for posting the link tree, by the way. That's helpful. I'm going to open that up because I'm pretty sure Hot Takes is listed. Yep, the Hot Takes podcast is listed in that link tree. Hot Takes, of course, is a Vaporwave podcast with myself and Skeleton Lipstick, who himself is a Vaporwave artist that's been around since probably the 2013 era, and is also the vanguard of the Philly-based Terminally Chill Vapor Dance Party. They actually had the NorCal edition return last night. But anyways, myself and Dr. Chris have kind of joined forces to start a bi-weekly Vaporwave podcast, whereupon we invite some personality from not just Vaporwave, but mostly the retro-themed kind of internet-based independent, electronic artist scene to join us to argue about music, debate, just discuss, geek out about stuff, and really it's a very interactive show. It goes for 2 hours. We have an average of maybe 40 viewers that are usually really active in the chat, just talking about opinions, expressing hot takes. Really, it's just kind of a very free form show. And we have upcoming on Monday, actually, in 2 days, we have Fiber joining us. French House / Future Funk God Fiber will be on Hot Takes at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central for all your local listeners at twitch.tv/Hot Takes Vapor. We invite you guys to join.
I'll admit that I haven't been a listener of Hot Takes, but you've really sold me on it over the course of this show. Especially, I didn't know you had Wizard of Loneliness on there. I eat up every interview that he does. I think he always has really interesting ideas and opinions, so that's probably gonna be the first one I check out. But yeah, I'll recommend that to anyone listening if you want to. If you haven't heard Wizard of Loneliness talk about Vaporwave, he's always got cool things to say. So maybe check out Hot Takes podcast.
He's a really cool guy for sure. Just posted the link for the Twitch. But yeah, we interviewed him. We had Tech Honors, Christ, Equip, Uniwa, all kinds of really cool people. Fire Tools. We got some great guests coming up too after Fiber. I'm not at liberty to say who. We got a really awesome short list, and I think you'll be thrilled about it.
All right. Well, with that, we will bid everyone good night and hope to see you next Wednesday. Actually, this upcoming Wednesday. I guess for anyone who's new to my show and just tuning in because they saw young Shiro here, I run my own version of this, I guess. It's the same format, but just me talking with either kind of a radio style mix that's a variety mix like you'd hear on the radio, or kind of like a thematic, I call them concept mixes, and I run them twice a month on the first and third Wednesday. You can always tune in live, or you can just listen to the mix afterwards. I've got the whole playlist on this channel, so check that out if you enjoyed tonight's playlist, or you can see the other luxury mixes I've done, which I've had some great people on here, like Equip, R Infinity, and Young Shiro, of course. So
you're too kind.
Plenty of luxury aesthetics content for anyone who's a newcomer here and enjoyed what you heard tonight. But with that, thank you so much, Young Shiro, for joining me tonight. It's been a blast, and I hope you and everyone else here has a luxurious night.
Always. Thank you.